What if the decision you're avoiding right now is the one that changes everything? If you've ever been paralyzed by a big decision, if you've ever stayed in a situation you hate because you're terrified of making the wrong choice, if you've ever looked back and thought, I wish I had just taken the risk, then this video is for you. Today we are talking about how to make decisions without fear, and I'm going to give you the exact framework that Jeff Bezos used to leave his stable job and start Amazon. In this video, I'm going to reveal the Regret Minimization Framework that removes fear from decision making. I'll show you the small experiment method that lets you test decisions before fully committing. And I'll give you the decision making matrix that makes complex choices crystal clear. But here's what most decision making advice gets wrong. They tell you to make a pros and cons list or to trust your gut. That's useless when you're terrified, because fear doesn't care about logic and your gut is often just your fear in disguise. What I'm going to show you today is completely different. It's a framework that bypasses fear entirely and helps you make decisions from a place of clarity, not panic. I've used this framework to make every major decision in my life: career changes, relationships, relocations, business decisions, and it's never steered me wrong. Not because every decision worked out perfectly, but because I never regretted making them. And that's the key. Let me tell you about the moment Jeff Bezos decided to start Amazon. It was 1994. Bezos was 30 years old, working at a prestigious investment firm in New York. He had a great job, great salary, great career trajectory. And then he learned about this thing called the internet, and he saw that it was growing at 2,300% per year. He had an idea. What if you could sell books online? But starting this company meant leaving his stable job, leaving New York, moving across the country, risking everything on an idea that might fail. Most people would have stayed. The safe choice was obvious. But Bezos used a framework he called the Regret Minimization Framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old looking back on his life. And he asked himself, will I regret not trying this? And the answer was clear. Yes, he would absolutely regret not trying. He might fail, the company might go bankrupt, but he wouldn't regret trying. He would only regret not trying. So he quit his job, he started Amazon, and the rest is history. The best decisions aren't made by minimizing risk. They are made by minimizing regret. When you're 80 years old, looking back on your life, you won't regret the things you tried and failed at. You'll regret the things you tried. Step 1. Project yourself to age 80. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself at 80 years old. You're looking back on your life. You're reflecting on the choices you made. Step 2. Consider both paths. Path A, you make the decision, take the risk. What happens if it works out? What happens if it doesn't? How do you feel about having tried? Path B, you don't make the decision, stay safe. What happens if you stay? How do you feel about not trying? What opportunities did you miss? Step 3, ask the regret question. Which path will I regret more? Not which path is safer, not which path is easier. Which path will I regret more? The regret minimization questions. For any major decision, ask, will I regret not trying this? If yes, strong signal to do it. If no, strong signal not to do it. Am I avoiding this because it's actually wrong for me or because I'm afraid? If it's fear, push through. If it's genuine misalignment, don't do it. What's the worst that could happen and could I recover from it? If you can recover, the risk is acceptable. If you can't recover, reconsider or find a safer way to try. What's the cost of not deciding? Staying stuck has a cost too, often higher than the cost of trying and failing. The regret minimization exercise. Write 2 letters to yourself. Letter 1. From your 80-year-old self who took the risk. Dear, I'm so glad you took that chance. Here's what happened. Letter 2. From your 80-year-old self who didn't take the risk. Dear, I wish you had taken that chance. Here's what I missed. Which letter feels worse? That's your answer. The decision clarity statement. Complete this sentence. When I'm 80 years old, I will regret not. That's what you should do. Here's the truth. You're going to have regrets no matter what. The question is, what kind of regrets do you want? Regrets of action, I tried and failed, or regrets of inaction, I never tried. Research shows that people regret inaction far more than action. We regret the chances we didn't take, not the ones we did. So when in doubt, take the chance. But here's the problem with big decisions. They feel irreversible, and that's what makes them terrifying. Priya wanted to leave her corporate job and become a yoga teacher, but she was terrified. What if she hated it? What if she couldn't make money? What if she was throwing away her career for nothing? So she stayed stuck for 3 years. Miserable in a job, but too afraid to leave. Then a friend asked her, why does it have to be all or nothing? Why can't you just try it? Priya was confused. How do I try being a yoga teacher? Her friend said, teach one class, just one. See how it feels. So Priya got certified and started teaching one class a week on Saturday mornings. She kept her corporate job, and after teaching that first class, she knew. She absolutely knew. This was what she was meant to do. But she didn't quit her job immediately. She slowly built up her teaching schedule. One class became 2, 2 became 4. She built a client base. She saved money. And after a year, when she finally quit her corporate job, it wasn't a terrifying leap. It was a natural transition. Most decisions don't have to be all or nothing. You can test them first. The small experiment method lets you try before you commit, which removes most of the fear from decision making. The experiment design. For any major decision, ask, what's the smallest version of this I can try? Examples. Big decision. Should I change careers? Small experiment. Take one course in the new field. Do freelance work on the side. Interview people in that career. Volunteer or intern for a month. Big decision. Should I move to a new city? Small experiment. Visit for a week. Rent an Airbnb for a month. Join online communities from that city. Visit during different seasons. Big decision. Should I start a business? Small experiment. Sell to 10 customers first. Test the idea on weekends. Create a minimum viable product. Validate demand before quitting your job. Big decision. Should I end this relationship? Small experiment. Take a temporary break. Try couples therapy first. Spend time apart to gain clarity. Have honest conversations about needs. The experiment framework. Step 1. Define the hypothesis. I think I would be happier or more fulfilled if I. Step 2. Design the smallest test. I can test this by. Step 3. Set a time frame. I will try this for. Step 4. Define success criteria. I'll know this is right if I feel. Step 5. Evaluate and decide. After the experiment, assess. How did it feel? What did I learn? Do I want more of this or less? What's my next step? The reversibility test. Before making any decision, ask, is this decision reversible? If yes, Make the decision quickly. Try it. Adjust if needed. Examples: trying a new hobby, taking a course, going on a date. If no, take more time. Gather more information. Use the regret minimization framework. Examples: having a child, getting married, major financial commitments. The 10-10-10 rule. For any decision, ask, how will I feel about this decision in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this decision in 10 months? How will I feel about this decision in 10 years? This helps you separate short-term fear from long-term regret. Here's what's liberating about the small experiment method. You don't have to know if a decision is right before you make it. You just have to be willing to try and adjust. Most decisions aren't permanent. Most paths aren't one-way streets. You can try, learn, and pivot. The only truly irreversible decision is the decision to never try at all. Now here's the final piece. How do you know if you're avoiding a decision because it's wrong for you or because you're just afraid? Neha had a decision to make. Should she move across the country for a job opportunity? Every time she thought about it, she felt anxious. Her stomach tightened, her chest felt heavy, and she interpreted this as, this is wrong for me. My intuition is saying no. So she turned down the opportunity. But 6 months later, she was still thinking about it, still wondering what if. And she realized that wasn't intuition, that was fear. Her therapist taught her how to tell the difference, and it changed everything. Fear and intuition feel similar in your body, but they're telling you opposite things. Fear says, this is dangerous, don't do it. Intuition says, this is right, even though it's scary. Learning to tell them apart is crucial for good decision making. How fear feels: physical sensations, tight chest, shallow breathing, stomach knots, tension in shoulders, feeling of contraction. Mental patterns: catastrophizing, imagining worst case scenarios, seeking reassurance from others, obsessive thinking, trying to control outcomes, focusing on what could go wrong. Emotional quality: panic, dread, resistance, wanting to run away, feeling trapped. Physical sensations: deep knowing in your gut, calm certainty even if scared, expansion in your chest, grounded feeling, sense of rightness. Mental patterns: clarity even if you don't know how it will work out, quiet confidence, acceptance of uncertainty, focusing on alignment not outcomes, peaceful mind. Emotional quality: calm, certainty, peace, excitement mixed with nervousness, feeling pulled forward. The differentiation exercise: think about the decision you are facing, then ask, question 1. Am I afraid of the decision itself or the uncertainty around it? Fear of decision equals might be intuition saying no. Fear of uncertainty equals probably just fear. Question 2. Does this decision feel like contraction or expansion? Contraction, closing, shrinking, hiding equals so fear or misalignment. Expansion, opening, growing, stepping forward equals so intuition saying yes. Question 3. Am I imagining worst case scenarios or do I have a deep knowing this isn't right? Worst case scenarios equals so fear, deep knowing equals so intuition. Question 4. If I knew it would work out, would I want to do this? If yes equals so it's fear, not intuition. Do it. If no equals so, it's intuition. Don't do it. The body wisdom test. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Imagine choosing option A. Notice your body's response. Expansion or contraction? Lightness or heaviness? Imagine choosing option B. Notice your body's response. Expansion or contraction? Lightness or heaviness? Your body knows. Trust it. The fear processing practice. If you determine it's fear, not intuition, process it. Step 1. Name it. I'm feeling fear about. Step 2. Thank it. Thank you, fear, for trying to protect me. Step 3. Reality check it. What's the actual worst case scenario? Can I handle it? Step 4. Decide anyway. I'm afraid and I'm doing it anyway. The intuition trust building. If you're not sure if you can trust your intuition, start small. Practice with low stakes decisions. Notice when your gut was right. Build evidence that you can trust yourself. Keep a decision journal. Record your gut feeling before deciding. Record what you actually decided. Record the outcome. Notice patterns. Over time, you learn to recognize your intuition's voice. Here's the truth. Fear will always be there when you're making important decisions. That's not a sign to stop. That's a sign you're growing. The question isn't, am I afraid? The question is this fear protecting me from danger or is it protecting me from growth? One you should listen to, the other you should thank and ignore. Let's bring this all together. Making decisions without fear isn't about eliminating fear. It's about making decisions despite fear. We covered the Regret Minimization Framework and how to make decisions based on what you'll regret least at 80. We learned the small experiment method to test decisions before fully committing. We explored the decision-making matrix to systematically evaluate multiple options. And we learned how to differentiate between fear and intuition so you know when to push through and when to pull back. But here's what I want you to really understand. The worst decision is no decision. Staying stuck, staying safe, staying in situations that don't serve you, that's not protecting yourself. That's slowly dying. Every day you don't decide is a day you're choosing the status quo. And the status quo has a cost too. So stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. Decide anyway. So here's what I want you to do. Leave a comment and tell me, what decision have you been avoiding? What are you afraid will happen if you make it? Because naming it is the first step to making it. And if you're thinking, okay, I'm ready to make the decision, but how do I deal with the fear that comes up when I actually take action? I made a video specifically about that. It's called How to Take Action When You're Terrified. I link it right here. Because making the decision is step 1. Taking action on it, that's step 2. Thanks for watching. Remember, you don't need certainty to make a decision. You just need courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding that something matters more than your fear.
In continuation of the age-old tradition of the wisdom of India, to join the Alchemy program conducted by Guru Mitra Shiva, kindly register or call 96559 92559. Visit our website www.matangifoundation.org. Guru Mitra Shiva's Alchemy classes are conducted in Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, Trichy, Salem, Pondicherry, Bengaluru and London.